We're going to talk about how to tune your bass guitar to standard tuning and to some alternate tunings. The notes for standard tuning are E, A, D, G. Now it's going from the lowest pitch to the highest pitch. E, A, D, G. In the beginning, you usually learn how to tune from the frets. And since on a 4-string bass guitar, all the strings are tuned in ascending fourths, which means that the 5th fret of the lower string will be the same note as the open next string. So the 5th fret on your E string is your open A string. 5th fret of your A string is the same as your D string. 5th fret of your D string, same as your G string. Now, to get a little more closer tuning, use what's called harmonics. Harmonics is a way to single out the overtones in an open string. So we say we have this open G here. We can go to the 12th fret. You just let your finger rest right above the fret. You don't have to push down. You just let it rest on it. Now we have the octave of the open string. 7th fret. We have the 5th of the open string. 5th fret, we have a higher octave of the open string, and the 4th and 9th frets are the same note, same overtone, and it's the major third of the open string. And this works on all of the strings. Now the reason you'd want to know that is because you get more precise tuning using these pickups instead of just the frets, or using the harmonics instead of just the frets. You can use the way to tune to standard tuning to get those into fourths. Instead of putting your finger on the 5th fret and doing that with the open note, you get the 7th fret of the higher string goes right along with the 5th fret of the next lowest string. So there was the 7th fret on my G string, 5th fret on my D string. And they're the same note. That works with all the strings going down. Okay, now from standard tuning, probably the most often used tuning besides that is what's called drop D. And that's when we take this E string and tune it down a full step to get a low D. The easy way to do that, since we already have a D string, is just to let that D string ring. We'll get the 12th fret off of our E string and just tune it down to match the D. Alright. So now you have D, A, D, and G. There's another thing called E-flat tuning, in which you tune everything down 1/2 step. So it'd be E-flat, A-flat, D-flat, G-flat. The best way to do that is to get your the 5th fret of your G string and pluck the 4th fret. Now when I'm talking about harmonics, 5th fret harmonic on your G string, 4th fret harmonic on your D string. And then you tune your G string down to the note that you play on your D. Now your G string is now down to a G flat. Now you can just use the 7th and 5th harmonics like we showed for standard tuning. Now everything is down 1/2 step. We have E-flat, A-flat, D-flat, and G-flat. We can also, again, like the drop D tuning, we can just pull this down from an E-flat all the way down to a D-flat. Since we have the D-flat, we'd use the open string, 12th fret. Alright. So, and then the way to tune back up, get those, there. And then you tune your G string up a half step. So 5th fret on your G, 4th fret on your D, and you want to tune it up to get it back to the D instead of the D flat. Now we can tune everything around our D string. Now there's one other type of tuning that has been used some. It's called drop C tuning. And it's like a drop D, except for, along with the C being a full step lower than the D, the rest of your strings are going to be a full step lower. So we're going to have a C, G, C, F, instead of the EADG that we have right now. Way to do that? Probably want to tune our G string down to the F. So 3rd fret on your D string is an F. Play both of those. Now my G string has gone down a full step and is now an F. Now I can use the harmonic tuning. Okay, now it's down to D, G, C, F, and we can just tune this this low D down to the C again. Remember, the way to tune this back up would be, first of all, we get everything back into perfect fourths. And then instead of, we'll use the G and the D string again, instead of going to the 3rd fret, like we did originally, we're going to go up to a full step from the original tuning, which would be the 7th fret. So you have the 7th fret and your open G string, which is now your F string. Tune that back up, you have a G again. And now we're back into standard tuning, EADG.